The stress response is a grand and broad subject, so today we're just going to focus on the physical aspect of the stress response. This is going to be the muscular sensations that you are able to tune into and feel, and it's also going to be touching on how this is related to the chemical changes and the hormonal changes in your body that happen when we detect danger. Now, danger is different for all of us, and there is like no point even trying to identify that. It's something that makes you feel unsafe, stimulates the stress response in your body. Now, what should happen? I'm going to talk from the point that we are all functioning optimally. So what I mean by functioning optimally is all of our organ systems are being energized by circulation and waste removal. So we're getting nourishment to all of our organ systems and waste removed from all of our organ systems because we're in balance. So physically, our bones have our weight, our muscles are neutral and available for use at any time, and they have their full capacity available. The breath is moving completely and naturally throughout your entire body. That's one of the routes of circulation. And your blood flow and venous return are all flowing as they are designed to do. So there's no restrictions on any part of your body when we are functioning optimally. This then vibrates out into the world. So we're going to start from there. So if we're in that state, and look, I'm still working through stuff in my shoulders because, you know, once you get through what you've done in your own life, you've got your genetics and your biology and your past lives and your ancestry to get through it. So there's like this never-ending adventure when you start unraveling what you've got. But for now, if we are coming from an optimal, fully functioning, balanced physical state, the stress response is as follows. So I'm going to turn side on so you can see it, because it's pretty much like a forward and backward movement. And I'm going to sit down because it's just easier. You get a closer view of me on this camera. So I'm getting myself onto my sitting bones because that is how we should all be sitting and standing, is the sitting bones down. And all I'm going to do is allow myself, you know, just to settle here for a minute and make sure that my breath is moving through my body, like it's impacting all different parts of my body. And there's no, I can't direct this to happen. As soon as I direct my breath to go to a part of my body, then all the other parts of my body are being drained to make that happen. It's an interesting concept that we can breathe into areas. We don't need to. If our body's functioning normally, our breath is moving the areas, all of them. So once we're like, I've settled down in here and I've, you know, let my breath settle, which, you know, on camera and talking, you know, it makes me a bit nervous, so it does impact my breath. But what happens is, and I will do this in an exaggerated way, so I'm happily cruising along in my day, everything is functioning optimally, and I detect danger. So I'm walking down the street and a car comes speeding past, a bit erratically, and there's concern perhaps it's going to jump up on the curb and run me over. Fair enough. What my body does is it prepares me to run, jump or fight, and for that I need good propulsion. So instead of being upright and neutral, where my weight is resting heavily on the earth, the muscle that runs between the lower ribs and the top of the thigh bone shortens, and it pulls the top of the pelvis forward. Okay, so I've gone from being neutral to having this shortened space here to get my weight over my feet for forward momentum, or for jumping, or for running. So the weight now is falling down here, so all I've got to do is put a foot under it and I propel. Nice. Don't even have to think about that one. So along with that shortening of that groin starts at the lower ribs, so it actually pulls the lower ribs forward and it thrusts them forward to do a couple of things. It shuts down the diaphragm to push so that the breath is coming short and high in the lungs, and so I'm going to fuel myself. My breath is there fueling this need for extra energy. And the other thing it does is, because it's shutting down the diaphragm, it's kind of cutting off the digestive organs, and it's stopping the energy going into just pulsing them and massaging them with every breath. So that's good. We need that energy to be elsewhere. And so we're rocked forward like this. The ribs are thrust forward. The breath is nice and high up here. And because we've got our pelvic bowl is now out of alignment, it's tipped forward, then the abdominal muscles tense down to give protection and to hold everything in place. So there's no movement of weight. It's all kind of contained in that. We've got the weight here, ready for propulsion, ready for running. So along with that, you've got the chin comes forward like so you can see, the eyes bulge, so you're good, and you are ready to go. You're like a little loaded spring now, as opposed to this one when you've got the capacity to be a loaded spring. You're now a loaded spring. All you've got to do is take that step, and you can run really fast. You can throw a really good punch. You can propel yourself up in the air. So that is what the stress response does physically. It postures you. Now what that's doing on a circulation level is it is pushing the flow of nutrients into certain areas. So like I said, the diaphragm's been kind of compromised, so there's no pulse happening down into the digestive organs. The blood flow and everything is pulled from the digestive organs, and it's redirected into our muscles, for use, and kind of over energizes the muscles, ready to go. The eyesight and hearing and everything is heightened because this area back here gets shortened with the chin going forward, which pushes all of the energy into the eyeballs and into that front part for hearing and seeing better. So we've prepared ourselves, and this is exactly how we should be. The other thing that happens back here, this physical, this shortening, is just in front of the psoas muscle, which shortens to tilt the pelvis and to pull the ribs forward. That's where your kidneys sit and your adrenal glands. So they're kind of being squeezed now. They're being squeezed, and they're kind of being encouraged to work. So the adrenal glands are under pressure. All of the other digestive organs have kind of been shut down. And your energy is now being encouraged in certain areas for your best chance of survival. So once the danger passes, all of that should reverse. So all we need to do is observe, okay, well, the car is now gone. I'm still okay. Look, I can feel it. I'm okay. Okay, yeah, my breath is fast. Well, that's fair enough. That was a bit of a shock. Okay, my breath is starting to slow. And yep, no, I'm good, and I've come back. So this is all soft. This is all soft. The pressure's been taken off the back of the digestive organs. The lungs have come back into alignment. The ribs have come back into alignment. So the diaphragm is now able to move up and down completely. So now all of the digestive organs are being pulsed and massaged. The circulation has returned to all of the organs. The breath has gone low back down into the lungs. The only thought that was required was the realization that, oh no, I'm safe now, that the danger has passed. And we all know that if we recall a scary time in our life or something that made us really angry, we all know, we can hear it in our voice, that we start talking angry again, and we rise back up into that. And it doesn't matter where this sense of danger comes from. As soon as we are rising back up into that heightened emotion or energy in motion, then we are kicking back off that nervous system response, which is to shorten, to thrust, to bring the breath high, to drain the circulation from the digestive organs. And we're now locked back into this position where our energy is being pushed in a certain direction, and it's not going to other areas. So there are 12 organ systems in the physical body, I think 12, 11, 13, depending on what you read. And so some are necessary for reproducing, digesting, healing, resting, digesting, healing, and the other ones are for fight, flight. The energy does not come from outside us ever, it comes from within us. The food we eat goes into us and then it is processed and it's brought, like it goes into our digestive system, it's processed and it's brought into our system. That's when it's usable, not when we're eating it, not when it's going through the digestive tract. Once it's been absorbed and it's inside our system, then it's usable. So that is the basic stress response and how it rises up and falls. The next few videos are going to be on how we unknowingly posture ourselves to stimulate the response, how different things affect us, and some experiences that I've had in my childhood which I realized had created limits, physical limits in my body, that when I felt those limits I was able to feel what I had done and what I had held on to and observe it without judging it, and in that safe space of me not judging myself, these habits dropped away.